Thanks for the support as a channel member, Simon Gray. I am just as delighted as you are. £5.5 million. Juventus, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, all hitting Ryan Lawson's release clause. There is going to be money to spend. No. Don't buy restaurants. I need players. Don't buy restaurants. Hello and welcome to part 18 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we play both PAOK and Olympiakos away from home. That's not even the big story, though. The big story is Ryan Lawson and the release clauses are being hit. We talked yesterday about how we had to be a little bit wary of the fact that in just over a year's time, teams could start signing on pre-contracts and we might have to accept a lower offer. We'd had a round of offers at £1.5 million that we rejected. We then, in between episodes, had another round of offers at £3 million, which we really struggled with and then rejected. But then the offers at £5.5 million have come in. Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester City, all meeting his release clause. There are still a lot of clubs interested in him. Chelsea, Inter, Lazio, Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham. He's not going to go to Tottenham, is he? But there's money being thrown at Ryan Lawson, and he's going to be going. He'll be gone at Christmas. He's in his final month at the club. I mean, he's not actually agreed to join any of them yet. And I mean, if I was him, I don't even know which one I'd want to go to. None of them seem like it's particularly likely that he's going to get in the team anytime soon. But you never know. He's a leading player in the Super League. I don't know did he ever make it into the Dream 11? He still might do before he leaves, I guess. There you go. He's in the media Dream 11. So he's the best centre-back in Greece. He's 18 years old. He's right up there as one of the top players in the entire division. So, I mean, he was always going to go, and I hope he goes on to have an awesome career. It shows how undervalued our entire league is, that his value is officially 47,000, but we're going to sell him for £5.5 million. And then we just move somebody up, and we've obviously got Chios, who's in the team at the moment. But if we have a look on the squad depth on here, we've got Syriakos, who's same age, came through the same class, same youth team. Also 5-star potential, obviously not as good as Lawson, but can get there. Mark Tracy, another one who came through the same youth setup, 5-star potential for him as well. Plus, there's going to be money to spend. Not a huge amount of money because we only have 5% transfer revenue, but we're 3 million in debt. So £5.5 million gets us out of debt, allows us to potentially ask for some improvement in some of these facilities because Mrs Wearmouth wants all that improving. And it will give us, £250,000 to spend, which we can sort out this wage budget problem with most of it. And it might give us a little bit to go and maybe buy that striker that we probably need, because the big issue we're still having with the team is that we're not scoring a huge amount of goals. Although Loris, as you can see, is probably sat there going, come on, Kev, what more do you want from me? I've got 7 goals from 14 games in all competitions. I'm scoring a goal every other game. I'm 19, in fact. So Loris isn't having a terrible season, but it just does feel that we're not great going forward at the moment. Since you were last with me, we've had horrible form as well. Horrible form. Hadn't won for ages, so actually went back to the 4-3-3, and there you go. Ryan Lawson with a hat-trick in the Greek Cup game. Only the second defender I've had in FM20 to score a hat-trick. The other one was Laszlo Banfalvi. So that gives you an idea of the level we put Ryan Lawson on. A hat-trick, and that obviously is the game that then led to the offers coming in. Weird, really, that for a centre-back, all he had to do was score a hat-trick, and suddenly the whole of Europe is willing to meet his release clause. But that is what it took, and who cares? He's going to go. I'm very happy. And because that was the game, we went back to the 4-3-3 and we did so well. I know we did so well against a team who are probably not even in the playable leagues, but that's beside the point. We've got some confidence back into us now. And we were losing with the 4-2-3-1. We were losing with the other system. We tried a diamond for a little bit that we were drawing with. And Loris seemed to respond quite well to the diamond. He enjoyed, I think, that wasn't the diamond. That was the 4-2-3-1. Did we play the diamond? Yeah, that's a weird way of presenting it, but there's the diamond. I think Loris did enjoy being able to play as a target man on support alongside Santa Maria and was scoring goals doing it. The only problem is we weren't winning games. So we're going to go back to this, and he's just going to have to do it on his own. And if he can't, that then brings me back to we probably need to bring in a striker. So the other piece of news is Brunoli's been injured. He's back in a couple of days, but he's missed most of the last month, which again coincides with us being in some pretty poor form. But this is our team for the first of today's big matches. Away against PAOK, we've got Del Favreau in goal, a back four of Giannoutzos, Kios, Lawson. I mean, is there an argument for not playing Lawson to avoid risking him getting... If he does his cruciate ligaments now, he's out for a year, no one can sign him, and then he leaves for a free this time next year. Imagine if that happened. I've been sat here celebrating. Mrs Wearmouth's got 3 restaurants she wants to buy with the money. I'm tempted to leave him out. I can't. We need him. Lawson, Kalapitas, and then Labru at the base of the midfield. Andriopoulos and Androutsos ahead of him. Zaidas, Nacho and Luris are the front 3. Let's get into the game. Let's hope Ryan Lawson doesn't pick up an injury. Imagine it. Don't imagine it, because then you might make it happen. Stop imagining it. Oh, I've said it now, so it's going to happen. Right, we're underdogs. I mean, we're going to be underdogs for both of these games today. We're away from home against the 2 top teams in the league. Expect 2 thumpings, and as you can see, we are slowly but surely falling further and further away from being competitive and getting into that championship group that we hoped so dearly to get into. But, I mean, the goal for this season... We said it at the start of this. Oh, and Androutsos is in there and has grabbed a goal. It's PAOK 0, Apollon 1. A goal, a win here, and we can forget all of my tempering expectations plans that I was just talking about. But I will refer back to them again to finish the thought. The plan for this season was just start establishing ourselves in the Super League, so another mid-table finish, and sell a player for a lot of money to firstly deal with the overdraft problem, the big debt problem that we've got, and also allow us to invest back into the training setup and the youth setup and all that kind of stuff, and just keep the conveyor belt rolling. Because the last thing we want to do, our youth setup is expensive to run. That's the one problem. That's the one problem with our youth setup being one of the best in the world and best in the country. It's obviously really expensive to run, and it's causing us huge financial difficulties. So until we are establishing ourselves as a Champions League club in our own right, which is, I would say we're a good 3, 4, 5 years away from that at this stage, because we're not going to be able to buy a team to get us there. We've got to develop youngsters to get us there. But whilst we're developing 3 or 4 young players for the first team every year, I mean, this is the plan, develop 3 or 4 first team mainstays every summer, the likes of Halilaj, who are going to go on to play 200, 300, 400 games for the club. But the real standout, the best one of every class, is going to need to be sold for big money to pay for the others. So we're effectively using Ryan Lawson to pay for Luris and Kios and Halilaj and that generation who will be part of our first team for a long time to come, but probably aren't good enough to go and play in a top European league, which means ultimately they'll need replacing when we get into the Champions League. But then that then becomes the new source of money. 2-1 down now, and this is a lot closer to where my expectations were. PAOK haven't had a clear-cut chance yet, so it's a little bit of extra frustration, because I wonder if we'd have had Brunoli in goal, would we have conceded both of those goals? Kalapitas now plays it back to Androutsos. Androutsos, lovely ball into Nacho. Nacho must score. How does he not score from there? How does he not score that? I almost broke the arm off my chair, because I'm so frustrated. Nacho with the corner and Luris with a horrific header. Call yourself a target man and you can't keep a header down from a corner. What is a target man if they can't head a football? Kalapitas to Zaidas, who heads it across goal, and it's cleared off the goal line by the PAOK defender. And we are pressing for a goal here just before half time. We've had 3 clear-cut chances to their none. This is the mugging of all muggings. We need a striker. Androutsos trying to get the ball over. Nacho plays it back to Kalapitas. Cross comes in, and it's an open goal for Zaidas. Is he onside? That's the question. I'm looking at the referee. The referee doesn't seem to be motioning for anything. It's being given. I mean, it was an absolute free header, but obviously he's timed his run right. Let's have a look at it from the other angle. Androutsos doing really well again. Nacho does well to play it back to Kalapitas. Cross comes in, and Zaidas, I mean, yeah, he does come from behind them. He's timed his run perfectly and grabbed himself his 3rd goal of the season. And just before half-time, it's 2-2. In fact, we've got another opportunity here. Labru with the cross. Andriopoulos has been fouled there, hasn't he? It looked like he was held back. Nothing is given. But we've now had 4 clear-cut chances to their 0. The rest of the team is playing well. We're suffering for not having a clinical finisher up front. So if we do get a little bit of spensies from the Ryan Lawson deal, that's what we've got to go and look for. We've got to get a striker. Right, carry on with the underdog team talk. A draw here is a very good result. But looking at the way we've played, we deserve to win this game. But I'm fairly sure Football Manager isn't going to give us that little bit of reward for what we deserve. Although PAOK are uninterested, which tells me it's time for us to have 10 minutes of passion. And that all that's done is frustrate my players because they're already playing with passion and playing well. Right, I'm going to get Santa Maria on and just try and get someone up there who might finish a chance or two. Andriopoulos can come off in midfield for Halilaj. And we're just going to move Labru further forward where he can carry on playing as a ball winner just there. He's going to drop to the playmaker. We're going to get Androutsos playing a little bit more directly. And just shuffle things around a little bit in that midfield. And hopefully go and grab a late winner. Although there's nothing really in the way of highlights happening in this second half. Petralis can come on now. And we can... Should we get creative? They didn't like being told to be passionate before. So let's say, well, don't worry about... You're playing passionately enough. You're doing really well. Just try and create some... We've got a striker on now. Try and create some more of those chances. Santa Maria has got... I mean, this is a very good counter-attack. They had 1 player back. And how did we miss? We had 4 attackers against their 1 defender. And we've given it to the least attacking of all of them in Petralis. And he's not even forced to save out the goalkeeper. That was pathetic. 5 clear-cut chances now. And that one was the easiest chance you will ever see in a Football Manager game. Kalapitis now charging down the right-hand side. Does really well to get into a crossing position. Cross comes over. Santa Maria's hit the post now. 5 clear-cut chances to their none. A draw is a good result that we take before the game. But my word, do I feel robbed. Absolutely robbed that we've not won that football match. I guess we're going to stick with the 4-3-3 because we played so well in that game. Manchester City. That's where he's going. We didn't even get an inbox notification. I was actually sat here panicking, thinking, why has this not gone through? Went to the squad screen, right-clicked on him, thinking, I'll offer him a new contract. If he's turning these down, I'll offer him a new one. And couldn't. And then realised he had the little TRN next to him, and the Manchester City deal is confirmed. But we had no notification come through about it. But he joins them on the 1st of January. Because it was a release clause thing, we weren't able to negotiate for a loan back. But that is absolutely the first thing we're going to do on the 1st of January. Try and loan him back for the rest of the season. Because I assume he's not going straight into Manchester City's first team. Unless he's really, really, really that good. But he's not even played for Portugal yet. So... In fact, he's only played 6 times for the Portugal under-21s. I know he's a great player for our league, but he's going to Manchester City as an 18-year-old who will get into their team in 2 or 3 years, surely. So a loan back to us might not be the worst idea for him. But with all that being said, we do get a little bit of money. We originally had a £250,000 transfer budget. I've slung a lot of it into wage budget to work out how much I could realistically spend on a player and probably a couple of grand a week of wages. So we've got 80, 90 grand to spend. And the more I look at the squad depth, the more I think we don't need a striker. We've got 3. We just need to maybe use one of these 2 rather than that one. What we actually need is a central midfielder and a left winger. So that's what we're now targeting, and getting Lawson back, because we've only really got Kios and Syrikos as options. We'll be fine. We needed the money more than we needed the player. I think we'll just have to make peace with that. So this is the team for the Olympiakos game. As you would imagine, no changes, because we did really rather well in that last game. So why would we change anything up? Let's get into the match. And it doesn't matter if Lawson gets injured now. I guess the only way it does matter is because it will make it harder for us to loan him back. But if there was panic that he might get an injury in the last game, the panic is gone now. Is it not match day? I thought it was match day. Why are we not playing our match? You can see I'm making an offer for a player now. I was trying to keep that secret. a midfield player. He looks good. I'll come back when it's actually time for the match. Right, now it's match o'clock, and I have now made 2 changes, because looking at that team, I hadn't picked it. That was still the team from the last game. I'd spent so long faffing around with Lawson and trying to spend the money that we got in for him. I hadn't realised I hadn't repicked the team. So Brinoli comes back in goal, and Kalapitas was shattered. So Guras is going to come in and play at right back. This is the young lad that we signed for actual cash money in the summer, because he's a proper wing back, a complete wing back, in fact. So let's tell him to be a complete wing back. If that's what he wants to be, charge up and down that right hand side. Show us what a complete wing back looks like. Show us that we can play Kalapitas in the middle, because that of course is the other option. Kalapitas can play anywhere across the back 4, so he could potentially be the man to go and replace Ryan Lawson if Guras comes in and is really, really good down this right hand side. Then Kalapitas just slots across and competes with Syracuse. And we don't need another defender in then because of the wonderful versatility of Kalapitas. Right, it's a corner for Olympiakos. Lawson heads clear. Kios is there to kick it the rest of the way. But the move continues because we've not got clear very quickly. They're in, and Brinoli makes the save. And then that's a fantastic block from, I think, Kios. Did really, really well there. But it is another corner for Olympiakos. And corner comes in and is headed clear by, I don't even know who that was, Labru, I guess. There was definitely an L involved, so I think it was Labru heading that clear. I would happily take another draw here. I know the game thinks that the PAOK game was another example of our poor run continuing. I see that, along with the cup game immediately before it, as a sign that the 4-3-3 is the way of the future. Strangely, also the tactic we used in the past, because we played so very well. And now we're holding Olympiakos at their place. We've had half the possession, shared just about every other stat as well. I see this as the beginning of the recovery. There's nothing to lose today. Go out there, give it your best shot. Absolutely. And, you know, we want to be in the championship group when Ryan Lawson leaves, mainly because when we were trying to loan him back, we want to be able to say, but look how we're going to potentially be getting into Europe. Let us have him back for a bit. My worry is he'll probably be loaned out to someone in Portugal because he's Portuguese, or one of the top Greek clubs will take him because he could fit straight into this Olympiakos team. There's no reason for him to come back to us other than loyalty. I don't know how much that's likely to weigh into the in-game decision. Right, our left-hand side has been poor, so Kalapitas and Bumel can come on to play on the left-hand side and hopefully end up playing as well as the right-hand side, who've been really good. But it is Olympiakos with the free kick. We've not had an attack worthy of a highlight in this game. We've had a few. Looking at the stats, there's definitely been attacks, but nothing highlight worthy. Goras plays it forward, looking for Luris, can't find him, and Droutsos is there to continue the attack, though. And this is our first attacking highlight. And Droutsos does brilliantly to play Nacho in, who, once again, he gets himself in these positions. And I know he scored a lot of goals last year, but he just doesn't look like a goal scorer. It's so odd. And I know we played him as an inverted winger for a lot of last year. So maybe we need to switch him back to that and just stop him shooting in situations like that. Perhaps that's the mistake I'm making. But we are going to take Luris off, bring Santa Maria on for the last 10 minutes or so. Luris is looking at this with 2 wingers on now, thinking this is the lineup I want to be a part of. They're actually going to cross to me. But this is the front 3 that did so well last year and got like 40 goals between them, but just haven't done the business yet for us this year. You know what? Don't care. 0-0. Fantastic result again. The recovery of Apollon is on. And hopefully in tomorrow's episode, you get to meet a couple of new signings as we start to spend the Ryan Lawson money. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.